17th April, 5:24 p.m. The Old Bailey.
Oh, one last time. You're welcome, everyone.
We're definitely not getting to any of the other things tonight. But we should finish this. We'll have to go over a tiny bit probably. It's done. It's all over. It's over at last. But where's Iris disappeared to? Ah. Congratulations, Gina. I knew it all along. I knew that you were innocent.
Well, you did what you say, Mr. Naruto. You believed in me right up to the end. Yurizoda's your name.
What's so odd about it? It's completely normal. Name. I told you I have faith in you, didn't I?
And no one ever has before, see? Kept the promise, properly.
It's awful.
I figured something out today. All my life, growing up in the slums, I've never trusted no one. But that's because I've been scared of being stabbed in the back. The more you trust someone, the more it hurts when they let you down.
Yes, I think I can understand that. After all, I had a taste of it in that trial 2 months ago. I chose to trust someone and paid for it. That betrayal left a big scar. You know though, Gina, I worked something out quite recently too. Trusting in someone is really an exercise in learning to trust yourself. And when your gut tells you it's the right thing to do, and your trust is rewarded, there's no better feeling in the world. I think I have you to thank for reminding me of that valuable lesson.
Oh, well, if you say so. Don't make a fat lot of sense to me, though.
Good to know, Cool Name. Trying to say that putting my faith in you, Gina, has been a real pleasure.
And allowed back it in. But I suppose I sort of feel the same way. Sometimes trusting someone else is, alright.
Thanks.
This is the way I see it, Ryunosuke. Boyfriend, a defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. Waha!
Cool Name's getting excited. After this experience, I'm starting to feel like I understand what you mean. Kazuma, am I living up to your expectations? Am I turning out to be the lawyer you believed I could be? To be fair, Ryunosuke, you're doing more living and lawyering than he is. So.
Oh no!
I think this is you. There's a high chance it's you, because most of the characters, it could be you.
Pardon the interruption. Pardon the interruption. But what the deuce does a man have to do to be noticed around here, my dear fellow?
Okay, Cool Name. That voice.
It's too late for that voice now, Mr. Naruto. I've been standing here patiently in the corner of this room for an eternity. Yes, it was me all along, I would have said when you finally noticed me. But you people, with your incessant babbling. Oh, Mr. Sherms. Yes, it was me all along. See, you see? Such a goober.
I'd assumed you'd taken back to the hospital, to be honest.
Indeed I was, but I managed to escape again.
Oh.
I happen to be aware of one or two
foibles of the doctor who was tending to me. I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily issued me with a leave of absence.
How very above board.
But enough of my adventures. That was a fine victory, Mr. Naruhodo. Your tireless efforts justly rewarded, I feel. Congratulations are in order. As a close friend, I tip my hat to you.
Oh, thank you.
Some great detective you are. Great at being cold as ice, maybe?
Have I irked you in some way, Mr. Strahd?
Why you been having us snoozing? Just nice off bed? Some of us have been fighting for our lives.
Ah, well, that bullet did cause me to lose a substantial amount of blood, it's true. So I've indeed feeling somewhat cold, not perhaps as cold as ice, but, well, have a feel.
Ooh.
Could you take your hands off my neck, please, Mr. Shrams?
Ooh.
And in some way, I suppose, congratulations are in order for you too, Miss Lestrade.
What's that supposed to mean? Why so half-hearted?
Well, maybe you'll find out more in the second game, Cool Knight.
Well, naturally, it isn't my intention to alarm you, but an acquittal in a trial with a particular prosecutor is perhaps a little precarious.
Well done, Mr. Shrams. Not alarming in the slightest.
Oh, the Reaper, you mean? Because anyone who's found not guilty in a trial he was working on winds up dead anyways, is that it?
The very point I was trying to make. And exemplified by the fate of Mr. McGilton, in fact. Hoo-ha! Ah, but of course, I paid no attention to such irrational drivel myself.
Yeah, well, it don't bother me.
Oh, really?
Of course not. The way I see it, the Reaper's a bit like him upstairs.
Him upstairs? You mean like God?
Yeah, him upstairs knows what's what, right? He knows what people are like on the inside. He won't have got the wrong end of the stick. There's some curves like that Bok Trotter would are brought into the core. At the end of the day, I'm upstairs, make sure they get what they deserve.
I suppose that's one way of looking at it. Divine justice is one thing, though. The Reaper taking matters into his own hands and claiming lives is another.
It ain't like the McGiltons of this world. I ain't like the McGiltons of the world, so I ain't scared. I got principles, see?
Trait in which you... a trait in you which is to be admired, Mrs. Strahd. Woof.
Oi, just give it a rest, alright?
As I was saying, congratulations are in order. The news of your acquittal was very welcome news to me indeed. Let me express my heartfelt congratulations, Gina. Well,
There you are, Hurley. How long have you been here? Honestly, I went to the main entrance especially to meet you there.
Ah, Iris, my dear, I do apologize. But wait until I tell you what happened. This pair made utter fools of themselves.
What happened?
As you know, I have a penchant for disguise. I was hiding in this room dressed as a bailiff. But these dolts didn't notice my presence at all. They had no idea. Can you imagine, Iris? Would you credit it?
I'm not sure, really.
I beg your pardon?
I'm sorry, Hurley, but you just don't have the weighty presence you seem to think you have. In fact, you really ought to be careful about that. It's going to land you in trouble one day.
I'll be careful.
Ouch.
Anyways, it's such a shame. I was hoping to throw a party for Ginny tonight. But you won't be able to come, will you? You don't look like I'm going nowhere for a while. We had the judge's patter. I got stuff to make amends for, apparently. All them offenses. What was it again? Breaking and entering, taking the bog trotter stuff. What was the log? Blah, blah, blah.
Yes, I think you'll find that basically being a pickpocket is the main offense.
But diving ain't the offense. It's a job, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Till it ain't got me thinking, that's all it is. Maybe I should start looking for another line of work. When you didn't start off as a liar, did you, Odo?
Well, no, but I was never a pickpocket.
Well, anyway, I reckon I could make a change. I'm gonna do something for all them lot like me from the slums. Something that makes a difference for them. That's a wonderful idea, Ginny. I'm sure you can do it. What is it? Nothing.
Miss Gina Lestrade! The prison carriage has arrived, ma'am. Come with me to the rear gate at once.
Right. Well, looks like I'm off then.
Yes, goodbye, Gina, and good luck.
Odo?
Yes? Ugh! What was that for?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say, so...
Ah, indeed. Perhaps the situation calls for a phrase hitherto missing from your vocabulary, Miss Lestrade.
Eh?
On occasions such as this, I would recommend a simple thank you.
Oh. Oh, yes! It's good advice, Ginny! Right, I see. Well... Thanks, Odo. Oh, Ghibli tears. Thank you for everything you've done, for believing in me.
Not at all. In fact, that should be my line. Thank you, Gina.
Oh god, is that the last thing we see in this game? I was gonna say, that's such a bizarre way to end the game.
Well, there she goes. I wonder if I'll ever see her again. No, we're going over a little. But this would be really weird to, like, stop here.
Well, well, quite an indomitable pig purse.
Oh, I nearly forgot. I bought the paper outside. It's a special edition, and this trial is all over the front page. Pickpockets innocent proven. Isn't it wonderful?
You should have shown it to Gina, Iris. She would have been thrilled. Shooting people just how I say thank you is cool name.
Oh no! How silly of me.
You can just visit her.
Ah, but anyway, would you like the good news or the bad news?
Good night again.
Well, what do you say, Reno? Hurley?
As usual, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first.
Same. Absolutely not. I have no intention to listening to anything but good news.
Ah, there you have it. How people answer that question says a lot about them, doesn't it?
Let's not go there.
Alright then, maybe let's start with the good news this time. The rain has finally stopped. It was a record level of rainfall, apparently.
Well, that is good news indeed. We can journey back in greater comfort.
Cool Name says they don't want any of the good news, only the bad news. Alright then, what's the bad news?
The huge storm has left the seas very choppy. The channel in particular is awful, so sailings out of Dover have been delayed by a day or more.
Wait, Dover?
That's right, if we head to the station immediately, we may still be able to make it in time to wave Susie off.
How is that the bad news?
But, there won't be a train, surely. We couldn't be that lucky.
Who do you think I am, Mr. Naruhodo?
Mr. Sholmes?
I rushed to Victoria Station earlier and made arrangements for a special express. If we hurry now, we shall be there in time for dinner. And I know of a fine restaurant that serves the most delicious baked sole.
The great detective does it again.
Indeed he does. I happen to be aware of a number of rail transport directors' foibles.
Yeah, Cool Name, he probably is still kind of badly wounded and shouldn't be moving around this much, but... Like, good luck keeping him still. What?
I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily laid on the locomotive. Elementary.
Just an idea, but it might be wise to stop manipulating people that way.
What are we waiting for then? To London, Victoria.
Final scene.
Ba-ba-bam, bam, bam, ba-da-da-da-da-da-dum. Please, Inspector Hosonaga, return just for this one scene and never again. That took somewhat longer than I anticipated.
Susie's boat must be about to leave now.
Mrs. Ada, where are you? Over there, look. Looks like she's reading something.
She's just reading on the dock.
Mrs. Ada, wait. What are you doing?
Joe, what are you doing here?
We came as soon as we could after the trial. I mean, we heard that sailings were being delayed due to the bad weather, you see.
Oh, I see. Then tell me, how did Gina's trial go?
It went well. She was acquitted.
That's wonderful. Really wonderful news.
The book you were about to throw in the sea was your Encyclopedia of British Law, wasn't it?
Oh dear, I was hoping you hadn't seen that. I'm not worthy of practicing law in any way now. So I was saying my final farewell.
Cool Name said, good news, she was found innocent. Bad news, she's in jail. You're saying goodbye to law. You, Suzato-san.
Would I be correct in assuming it's because of the peephole, Miss Susato?
I deliberately altered the scene of a crime, and then I tried to hide the fact. What I did is utterly unforgivable. That reminds me. How did you even come to have this, Susie? On the evening of the incident, Mr. Sholmes had invited Gina to dinner, if you remember. Oh, yes! We had a wonderful time! Well, Gina gave us a little introductory lesson, didn't she? To the art of pickpocketing, I mean. Oh, that was so much fun! I stole Runo's armband!
Yes, please don't do that again, Iris. That band's very important to me.
Well, if it's so important, you should pay more attention to it! You didn't notice it for ages! On a whim, I thought it'd be fun to see if I could take the cat flapper-mat, so I put it up my sleeve. Really? Then I rather forgot about it until I found myself in Mr. Winterbank's shop with it later that night.
How do you forget all the massive thing in her sleeve? I see.
And then... Ah! Mr. Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes!
Leave
Leave me, Mr. Naruto.
God, I have no voice here. Right. I have one character in all these scenes.
Just the word right.
After Mr. Naruto had left the shop, I started to think. That door started to play on my mind.
The storeroom door, you mean?
Yes, if Gina was anywhere in the shop, I realized it could only be behind that door. And at that moment, the little device I had up my sleeve sprang to mind. I was so worried about Gina, I simply had to know.
So he used the cat flapper mat to make the peephole in the door.
As captured in a photographic print in the store. The shop. By one of Hurley's red-handed recorders.
Indeed, it was of the first importance at that point. Precisely when the peephole was made, that information would prove to be Mr. Naruto's greatest weapon. Though naturally, without proof, it would have amounted to nothing.
But when I looked through the hole in the door, the sight that met my eyes made my blood run cold. Thoughts started to run through my mind. I remembered that trial 2 months earlier.
The trial of Magnus McGilded.
I thought about how he had manipulated the evidence and arranged false testimonies to secure his freedom. It made the British justice system feel very dark and sinister to me. And then a terrible thought occurred to me. What if some wicked criminal was planning to do the same thing now? Because from the appearance of the crime scene, it looked exactly as though Gina had shot Mr. Winterbank. Even though I was sure she would have never done such a thing.
You were worried that the true culprit would try to frame her for the crime.
That's right, but then I realized it'd be very difficult for anyone to give false testimony in this case.
What do you mean?
Well, the crime appeared to have happened behind the door of a locked room. For someone to claim falsely to have witnessed it, there would have had to be a way to see beyond the door.
Ah,
For which a peephole would be the very thing.
What people had made wasn't actually there until after the crime had been committed, of course. The criminal would know that, so it wouldn't make any difference.
The possibility of a rather ingenious trap was there, was it not?
a trap. Is that why she did it?
So, is that why you kept it a secret, Susie? You never mentioned that you'd made the people to anyone, not even to the police. I know, and I knew at the time what I was doing was wrong. A criminal offense, even. That's why I decided to confide in Mr. Sholmes. If Mr. Naruto was completely backed into a corner with no other possible means of escape, the truth about the people could save him. That was my plan.
She really does think of everything. But then, why didn't you just tell me everything before the trial began?
My dear fellow, you're not thinking straight. If she had done that, it would have rendered you complicit in the whole escapade.
Ah,
You could have been disbarred if you had been seen to have knowingly tampered with the evidence. So Mr. Sato decided to shoulder the burden of responsibility alone. For your sake and Miss Lestrade's.
Mr. Zato.
The truth is, when it happened, I did it because I lost a little of my faith in law.
Oh,
I was worried that the right person wouldn't be convicted of the crime. But the moment I allowed myself to think that, is the moment I lost my right to call myself a judicial assistant.
what you did isn't comparable to what he did. Graydon is the one who lied in the witness stand using that peephole as a way to implicate Gina. And besides, if the peephole consistency hadn't existed, I'm not at all sure that she would have been acquitted in the end. Mrs. Zato, what you did saved Gina's life.
Well, with your kind words, Mr. Naruhodo, you've saved me too from my regrets. Bum, 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 bum.
Well, we must all be thankful that Mr. Lestrade's freedom has been assured.
Yes, exactly. Though some of the loose ends in that trial will continue to play on my mind, I'm sure.
But the revelation that the music bot disc contains secret messages, Mr. Naruhodo. What a triumph to work that out! I'm full of admiration.
Well, actually, that argument wasn't quite as compelling as I thought it was.
Oh, it wasn't?
There was a communications officer among the jury members, you see, a telegraph operator. And she said the majority of the sounds on the disc were just meaningless tones.
As one would expect, after all, we are talking about secret government communications. No doubt they were written in a cipher to avoid being readily understood should they have been intercepted.
In cipher? I see. So then we could never have hoped to understand the message anyway.
Nonsense, my dear fellow. It's quite a zero-pipe problem, I assure you.
It's here. There was an A.
I don't know who's saying that.
That's one of your characters.
Sogi.
What?
Sogi, my boyfriend.
Well, that can't be a real word. That can't be a real word, can it? How funny. Wait, Iris, what did you say? Oh, it just said asogi. Does that word mean anything to you? It means something to you.
Means something. Asogi was the name of my best friend.
What? But how? How do you know that name, Iris? I wrote it down in the trial before when the message was played on the music box.
She transcribed it on the fly. She really is a genius.
I thought the message probably wouldn't be written out in Morse code, so I tried various ways to interpret it. But whatever I tried, the word just didn't seem to make any sense. That is, in English at least. Oh! It suddenly occurred to me, you see. There's more than one Morse code, not just the English variety. Various countries around the world have altered and added to Morse code using their own languages.
I don't believe it. Are you saying...
That's right. I've only actually seen a chart of Japanese Morse code once before. But I think it's based on the Iroha panagram, isn't it?
Do you mean to say that in Japanese Morse code the message said it's asogi?
Yes, I think so. Sorry, but I don't remember all the Japanese Morse code. Iris, would you let me see that?
Mrs. Zato, do you know it? Do you know Japanese Morse code?
Yes, I spent some time studying it. Because I'm quite sure Morse code will become ever more important for international communications.
The lady just runs out and says, "Oh, I agree with you, stop!"
Then might I recommend, my dear madam, that you focus your efforts on the English version.
Be that as it may, Iris, show me the message, please. Of course. But what can this possibly mean?
Whatever is that long sequence supposedly meaningless dots and dashes, it's made of the color drain from Suzato-san's face.
There's no doubt that this message is written in Japanese Morse code.
The cool news there, the man comes out yelling about how it's no match for the stereoscope. The Japanese Empire has been using Japanese for its... So the British Empire has been using Japanese for its secret communications.
I don't understand the reason why, but the message appears to be a list of 4 people's names.
4 names.
The first is Kei Asogi.
Kazuma Asogi. Why? Why was his name on that disc?
The second is A. Shin.
Shin. I don't recognize that name.
The third is T. Guregusan.
Gregson?
It would seem Tobias Gregson is the third man on the list.
What's his name doing in a secret government communication as well?
And the last name.
It's her dad!
What's the matter, Mr. Zato?
It's just so strange, so unexpected. Oh, what is it, Susie? Don't keep us in suspense. The last name is J. Wilson.
Whoa.
What?
Wilson?
John H. Wilson? You mean Daddy?
It could be any J. Wilson. It's a common last name and first initial.
Jeremiah Wilson.
It says only J. Wilson, so I'm afraid I can't be sure.
I thought for a second you said Jemiah Wilson.
Jemiah Wilson. That's officially it. It's Jemiah Wilson.
Then after the 4 names it reads, if I translate from Japanese, that is all 4. That's the end of the message, or rather, the end of what you noted down, Iris.
I just can't believe it. Who would ever have thought that those discs contain Japanese Morse code? Not to mention a strange list of some disturbingly familiar names.
It would appear that this particular message is a communication of some kind between Great Britain and the Empire of Japan.
So Daddy could be in Japan then, where Caesar and Rudo come from. Oh, well... No, it's not very likely, really, is it? I mean, there are thousands of people with the surname Wilson, and there must be lots of J's among them.
You think Sholmes knows something cool name? Professor John H. Wilson, visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University. We can't tell Iris about that now, we just can't.
Do you think his hair was originally pink, and it's just, with age, it's gone gray?
Why would it be pink? Oh.
Because his daughter's hair's pink.
I assumed her hair's dyed.
Really?
Who has natural pink hair?
We'll
Even
see.
an ace attorney.
I guess so. Well, didn't April May have pink hair?
I mean, I would assume she dyed it too.
I guess so.
She wears pink with everything.
Uh,
You beat the first trial for the second game? Nice cool name. This is so strange, somehow in solving the case of Mr. Windibank's murder today. I feel like I've rolled back a boulder at the mouth of a very dark cave.
I do wonder if perhaps it's a dark cave that we should go wandering inside.
Honk.
oh, I wanted to voice the steamboat.
You got to voice the cat.
Fine.
Oh dear, the ship's going to set sail soon.
But I call dibs on the next inanimate object.
The cat wasn't inanimate.
I know. I'm just saying. I call dibs on the next inanimate object. You can
Yes,
call
it
dibs on the
seems
next
so.
animate object.
The next animate office will probably be a person.
I'll sail on that steamship first to the port of Dunkirk in France. Then I'll change onto a larger passenger vessel bound for Japan. You're really going then, Susie?
We wish you a safe passage, Miss Susato.
We wish you a safe passage. We wish you a safe passage.
We wish you a safe passage and you don't get murdered.
Thank you so much. I wish you all the very best.
We wish you the very best. We wish
Miss
you the very
Susato,
best.
I had hoped to have you always at my side, to
Oh.
guide me and support me.
Ooh.
Mr. Naruhodo!
Please, come back soon. As far as I'm concerned, you really are the very best judicial assistant in the world.
Oh.
Like, oh, I thought he was going to propose.
I'm quite sure. I'll be back before you know it.
This is
Really?
giving me Rex Nia I love you vibes.
And I love you and all my other friends too.
Oh, no, don't forget, Iris. I made you a promise I've yet to fulfill.
Promise.
About your manuscript. Ah,
Oh yes, the Hound of the Baskervilles.
well, I'll be waiting for you then, Susie. A promise is a promise. Definitely, Iris.
Oh, come on, cool name. Susato's not the only reasonable brain cell here. Because, like, Iris is pretty dang smart, too.
I mean, she's smart, but she's pretty out there.
Mr. Naruhodo,
Yes?
do you remember the first time we met?
Yes, of course. And the SS Burya, when I was dragged out from that wardrobe still half asleep. If I remember rightly, he threw me halfway across the cabin with the Susato takedown.
You know very well what I'm talking about after that. It's strange, but being thrown together as we were in that case, I somehow felt straight away. You were the perfect person to continue Kazuma-sama's great legacy.
Miss Susato,
My instincts were right. I really want to believe. No, I'm sure that.
No, I truly.
I'll be back soon. Farewell until then.
Coolness
Keep
said,
saying
no,
that.
no, we're not thrown together. You threw me. And Dragon said, stay tuned for the next game to find out.
Stay tuned. Stay
Somehow
tuned.
we seem to have come to the end of the adventures of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Or the first volume, at least. Looking back now, it feels as though fate has led me on this journey.
Oh, Wagahai.
Hi.
I love Wagahai.
Fate led me to becoming a lawyer, to traveling halfway around the world, to meeting the great detective. I'm sure there'll be trials and tribulations ahead. Of course there will.
Prepare.
But whatever happens, I know I'll be able to turn my fortunes around.
Roll credits. He's playing.
After all,
How beautiful.
I have the greatest friends
Wait,
in the world
that's cello. That's a
on my side.
that's a cello. Why did I say
That's a
cello? It's definitely not cello.
That's a viola.
That's a Violetta Cadaverini.
It's Violetta Cadaverini. Ugh. Why would you remind me of Violetta Cadaverini?
Because she's in my thoughts every day.
Ah, yes. Violetta Cadaverini.
Yes, Violetta Cadaverini.
I have some rather awkward news. The railway company has decided to sue over the Special Express train, apparently.
Huh?
It caused such a commotion on the line, all the other trains had to wait at the stations.
But really, we would have never made it to Dover in time otherwise. Anyway, I explained everything, and it was all your fault.
Huh? Huh?
I believe a formal complaint should be delivered to your office tomorrow. But we're not, my dear fellow, according to Miss Susato.
You love defending yourself in court.
Huh? Huh? Huh?
It's alright, I'm perfectly happy to testify. He really didn't look like he was the sort of man who'd do something so outrageous. See?
Mr. Sherms,
Yes?
a word, if you don't mind.
Why, certainly any word you'd like. Below it, my dear fellow. It's just Susanoo takes on him into the ocean.
Oh yes, I love Runo's words. And I know just the one he'll use here.
An objection?
Then I really must say,
Objection!
yeah, that's how they end every game. They start
Do
again.
they? I forgot.
Yeah, they always have something where he has to shout objection.
Bum, 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 bum,
Usually
bum,
like,
bum,
you're gonna
bum,
treat all of
bum,
us to
bum,
dinner.
bum, 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 bum. Thank you, Shutakumi.
But we still have a little dialogue to read during the credits. There's
And
tradition.
thank you. Black
See you.
screen.
In the following weeks, hundreds of music boxes arrive at Baker Street from all over Europe. Something was afoot, though it transpired I had ordered them all myself. So I advertised them for sale with used by Mr. Sherms to serve an important case. And the money I've earned consultant detective work pays a pittance by comparison. Hoo-ha!
Thank you, Kazumanuri.
It was Kazuya, not Kazuma.
Kazuya.
Ah, I haven't slept a wink. This manuscript is due tomorrow now. When I'm this busy, Harley usually cooks me breakfast. Well, cooks is an overstatement for some dry toast and insipid coffee. I do miss Susie and her lovely Japanese breakfast.
Thank you, Yasumasa Kitagawa.
Yep, cool name. Every game has to end on an objection. You gonna look...
Witness, your testimony is riddled with contradictions.
Exactly. Rarely do rare Koban coins hide under rare stake themselves.
Well, I don't know, son. Knows his father's an innocent man. Why are you calling my son a liar? Witnesses, my courtroom is no place for your petty arguments. God. I'm trying to, like, search my memory banks for voices.
I know, right? I mean, Ouchie is very readily accepted of me.
Having delivered the Russian dancer to shore in Shanghai, I lay low on the steamship for a while. But last night I apprehended an extremely suspicious Japanese national on board. I've done nothing wrong. All I did was give Wagahai's offspring refuge in my pockets. A man brings kittens on board, and suddenly he's a hardened criminal. It's not fair.
Yoichiro Akeda, Atsushi Yodai. I told you that Yagahai was a girl. Because that type of calico
How do you know?
very rarely is male.
Scientific investigations will be a gold standard for something or other. I dream of a world governed by tenets of order and discipline. Like a great clock, in fact, whose hundreds of parts mesh together in perfect unison. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have but 2 minutes and 37 seconds till my next appointment.
Ba-ba-da-ba-ba.
Never realized like every game did that for a while, Dragon. Fair. I played the most of them multiple times, so.
Chips.
The greatest ranch magazine is out, and I'm in it again. Whenever I say that one line she wrote now, I get a standing ovation. Want to hear it? Humph. Not bad, I suppose, for an amateur. Glug, glug, glug. Her ladyship puts me to shame.
So, is this like canon? Is this all things that are happening?
No
So he
idea.
didn't go to jail for lying in court?
Drunkheart has a nice, big, and powerful clock. Okay, cool name.
Oh.
Been visiting a little girl on a daily basis, of course. Joni, my old jailbird. Must say, battling with his bally stares every day has done wonders for the Dicky Peg. Managing rather well with the housework, too. Got this maid business taped up, I'd say. Hope the gossiping neighbors don't realize the man of the house is his own maid.
I guarantee he wears a maid costume.
I was gonna say, I hope he's wearing like a maid outfit.
I guarantee that he does, and he makes a show to like be on the window so people can see him.
We got you.
Oh, my railway is back on the beat again. Oh, thanks to the Reaper.
There's nothing I enjoy more these days than hunting some small change in the gutter. Better Bobby now, looking out for Londoners to drop a happenings to my lovely wife. Oh, Pat.
Rolly.
Oh, my heart.
It's too much.
My heart is filled.
Yeah, but overfilled now.
We should be Pat and Rolly for Halloween next year.
Oh, God.
Looks like I'm gonna be doing fine. Doing time for a bit. But Iris comes every day for her nata, so it ain't too boring. She's always gone on about all them cases what Sholmes is looking into. Criminal investigations are kind of interesting when you get into them. Bam, 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 bam,
Well, name's
bam,
with Garrett
bam.
in a maid dress. I'd like to see it.
Of course, Codename would.
With a short skirt.
A cool name after my own heart.
Yes, I renounced my upbringing and chose a life of sophisticated crime. But regrets, please.
Give over, bruv. Nothing to ask for you to know.
I got time in there to plan the comeback to Milva Tendon Skulk in the Milk Run, right?
Three
Muscat Watsits.
What's it?
Milk in the neighborhood for all it's worth. Both of us, I think, kept like slowing down and speeding up, trying to reach each other.
Listen, we got it. That's their vibe. They're just trying.
I didn't even bother voicing him because I can't do two voices at once.
Listen.
I'll fix it in post. No.
Throat singing. Nepalese throat singing.
This past 6 months have been a time I shall remember forevermore. Painful goodbyes and wonderful encounters. I've come to realize that's what life is all about. Naruto-san, I promise. Your assistant will return to you one day. But for now, I leave you with many memories and a heartfelt wish that life will treat you well.
Yeah, Dragon, I agree. It's a good first game, but you can tell they left a ton of sequel hooks. And I do think the second game is better, but this is great too. Yeah, I still have to finish the second game. But we're going to be getting into it next week anyways, probably.
They're boyfriends.
There we go.
I love it. Wagahai. And
But where's
Other-
Kazuma? Mayo was in that picture of the first game. Like, her ghost.
Huh?
Oh, it's like an anime.
I don't know. Let's skip this because it's going to be a while.
Oh, it's like an anime. Do the other people join?
People will join, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
They'll walk by the characters as they chronologically appeared, and any that travel with you in the game will walk with you for that part.
I mean, are we... Oh, man. Oh, this is so lovely, though. Oh. Can I inconvenience everybody to watch this? Is this long?
It'll be a couple minutes.
Oh, this is so lovely. All the memories.
I'll just say, once we raid, I'd have to, like, bounce. I have stuff I have to get done.
The coin collector. Jezebel, Giselle Brett. Oh, this is so lovely.
This ending made you cry, cool name?
Ah,
It's cute. Yeah.
ah.
Like, look at that sweet memory of her ascending to heaven.
Yeah, her hat taking her away.
And the most photogenic picture of Mr. Biff.
Biff Stroganoff.
Mr. Stroganoff himself.
And his pet snake. Oh, good memories. Remember when your best friend was killed by accident.
Because he tripped on a
purpose.
cat.
And that's where he leaves. Oh no! Oh no!
That's it. He can't walk this path with you anymore.
Oh, oh god! Oh, that really made me.
And that's
feel.
why. There she is.
Oh god!
But look, she's so remorseful.
Oh,
She didn't
my
want that to
God.
happen.
Oh.
But here we go. New friend.
Oh wow! That was an emotional gut punch. Oh my lord!
Hey, you guys.
They
Catch up.
should have not done that. They should have not done that. That's rude.
I mean, I told you, it's going to be with characters travel with you for where they traveled with you.
Oh, oh man.
Mr.
Wow.
Strongheart himself and his big, strong heart. Mr. and Mr.
Bailiffs?
Bailiff.
Oh, I'm here. I'm from Australia. My name's Bruce
It's
Fairplay.
me, Papa.
Pepper.
Hey,
Pepper.
top of the morning. Not like
I
I was a nice guy in the end, ain't I?
Go die in a carriage fire. Ugh.
I did. Want me to do it again?
Oh, this is lovely.
And here's where we pick up Mr. Sholmes.
Oh. Ah. This really makes me want to stick for credit scenes.
They did have a lot of cool name, or a lot of top hats in the third case cool name.
Pat and Rolly
Mr. and Mrs. Beat.
and the
Mr. and
Gyarados.
Mrs. Garadab. And Mr. and Mr. Natsume. God.
Wagahai no Neko de Aru.
Natsume.
Natsume. And now
Now we're joined by
Iris.
the ineffable Iris. I don't know what
Look at
ineffable
her.
means, but I think it applies here.
Oh, look at me kick dramatically.
Look at
Oh,
that
he's
foot.
joining? Is he walking
Uh,
ahead of us because he's always one step ahead? Please let him walk ahead
No,
of us. He's one
I
step
don't
ahead.
think he's.
Ah,
I think he's staying there.
Darn. Ah,
Oi, Josh, we're the Skokie brothers.
and yeah, it would have been a really.
We
messy
are,
situation.
bruv. We are. And
I,
I am
I'm-
the third skulking brother.
I'm retiring her accent.
Whose
Goodbye,
whose accent?
Gina's.
Hi.
It was rough.
But she's the best character.
She was just too tsundere. She just didn't want to participate.
Listen. She had a really rough everything.
Yeah,
Like
really rough everything. Wow. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. The only other game. Thank you, Capcom, for bringing this game to America. Hoo-ha! I really appreciate it. This was a treat.
they did it just for you.
Oh, thank you, Capcom.
The Great Ace Attorney Adventures of Finn.
I've only ever cried at 2 credits: Persona 4, and now this.
Stella Glow didn't ever.
I didn't cry during Stella Glow.
Fleeting Farewell achievement.
Is there something gonna be said, or just?
I don't think anything's gonna be said.
Okay.
I think it's just gonna.
Yeah. No, I didn't cry for Stella Glow. Stella Glow wasn't a sad thing to cry